Got dreams of being a professional podcaster, but have no idea what you're doing?
This is impossible.
That's about to change.
A new kind of school.
Welcome to the Pod School Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the show. Today's episode is inspired by Tom, who sent me an email about the microphone that he needed for his Zoom recorder. And I realized, you know what? A lot of people are unsure about the difference between a USB mic and a mic that connects via XLR cable. And the issue, if you buy the wrong one, is that you won't be able to stick your microphone into the thing you want to stick it into. So I thought I'd give a little bit of an explainer on the differences between the two and which one you'll need depending on how you intend to record your podcast. So really the only difference is how the microphone connects to your computer. If you have a USB mic, that will come with a USB cable that connects right into your computer, just like any other device, like your hard drive, and it gets its power from that USB cable, and you can just plug and start recording straight away into your audio software like Audition. That is probably the easiest way to do things when you're starting out, but only if you sort of intend to always be near your computer, or if you always intend to record your podcast at home. Maybe you're going to be interviewing people, but those interviews will always be on Skype. Then you can just plug your USB mic into your computer and away you go. The mics that are attached via XLR cable can still be attached to your computer, but they just need what's called an audio interface. Essentially, it's just a little box that has plugs that can plug the XLR into, so those inputs, and then out the back a USB cable will run so that that can plug into your computer. This is an extra bit of equipment that you probably don't want to worry about when you're just starting out, but if you have been thinking about buying a Zoom recorder, then that little Zoomie, my favorite little machine of all time, can be used as your audio interface. I'll try and explain a little bit better what I'm talking about. So I go out on location to record guests for my show, You've Got to Start Somewhere, and I take just my Zoom with me. So I will take a couple of microphones, a couple of XLR cables, and you can head to podschoolpodcast.com and I'll pop photos of all of these things so you can know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's my kit for the day. That's all I need, just a couple of mics and the Zoom and the cables to connect the Zoom. I just find it really portable and easy. I can pop it in a suitcase and I can take it interstate with me. It is a simple way to record as opposed to having the computer with me. And the other reason I don't record on my computer is because I have a laptop that runs like an old mule. If you have a memory full desktop computer that is just running like a dream, then you will probably not have any problems. But I only had to have my computer crash once and lose a 45-minute episode that I was recording at the time to realize I was never going to record like that again. So I will always take that Zoom out with me on the road, and then I will bring the audio back and I will plug it into my computer and edit that way. However, if I use my computer at home and I want a decent microphone, then I just use that Zoom as an audio interface. So I will use those microphones that plug into my Zoom via an XLR cable, and then I plug that into my computer. So you really have, with a Zoom and the XLR cable and the mics, the best of both worlds. Usually, for most people, they will start out with a USB microphone, and then as you get better and better quality microphones, they're usually attached via XLR cable. This might change as the technology gets crazy good and everything's improving, but usually those really high-end mics are attached via XLR cable, so you need an audio interface in between. If you're starting out, just buy the USB mic. If you're not going to be out on the road, if you're going to be recording at your computer, that should do you just fine. But if you think in the future that you're going to need to go out on the road and that is something like a Zoom might be useful, or alternatively you want to just drop some coin on a more decent mic, then you might need to look at something that attaches via XLR cable, and that means you will need a little audio interface in between. If you just Google audio interface, it will pop up. But I would highly recommend having a Zoom there, because then it's not just a box with inputs and outputs. It's actually an interface that you can take on the road with you and use as a recording device. So it's multi-purpose, which is really useful. When you are buying your mics online, please make sure you look at the specifications to see whether it attaches via USB cable or XLR cable. If you buy a high quality mic and it has an XLR cable and you are hoping that you're going to plug it into your computer, then you will need to buy that extra bit of equipment in between to make sure that the microphone that you've spent your hard-earned on can actually get the audio from your mouth into the computer. I hope that's helped you work out what the difference is between an XLR and a USB mic. Head to podschoolpodcast.com to get all of the show notes. As I said, I'll put photos to everything I've referred to. As well, you can get my tech guide, which takes you through all of the options for all of the things that you need to set up a home studio, no matter what your budget. And there's also a link there to my online podcasting course, PodSchool, which you can head onto the wait list for. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you next week. And until then, happy podcasting.
That's all for today.